What if the blood sugar crisis sweeping through modern America had nothing to do with carbohydrates and everything to do with which carbohydrates we stopped eating? For 10,000 years, civilizations on every continent built their strength around specific grains. Not the bleached, stripped, ultra-processed flour lining grocery store shelves today. We're talking about actual grains, grown whole, often fermented overnight, stone-milled fresh at dawn. And their people didn't face blood sugar problems anywhere close to the epidemic levels we see now. Stick around, because number 6 on this list is a grain that Byzantine monks ate every morning for centuries, and a clinical trial published in the European Journal of Nutrition found it lowered fasting glucose by nearly 20% in just 8 weeks. Number 12 is a seed that the Aztec warrior class consumed before battle, specifically because it kept their energy locked in for hours, and modern glycemic index research has confirmed exactly why. Hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we connect cutting-edge nutrition science with the foods your body was designed to thrive on. Let's get into it. Here are 15 ancient grains ranked from remarkable to absolutely essential for your blood sugar every single morning. Long before modern wheat varieties were hybridized into high-yield commodity crops, farmers in the Fertile Crescent in what is now southeastern Turkey and northern Syria cultivated einkorn, the oldest domesticated wheat on Earth. Archaeological evidence from the Karakadağ mountain region dates its cultivation to around 10,000 BCE. These early agrarian communities ground it between stones, mixed it with water, and let it ferment slowly before baking flatbreads or porridges. They had no knowledge of insulin signaling, but through generations of careful observation, they understood that this grain sustained energy without the sudden crashes common with other foods. Modern biochemistry has now confirmed in clinical detail what they knew intuitively. Einkorn contains a significantly different gluten protein structure than modern wheat. Specifically, it carries only the A genome rather than the combined A-B-D genome of modern hexaploid wheat. A study in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that einkorn provoked a substantially lower postprandial blood glucose response compared to modern wheat bread. This is attributed to its higher carotenoid content and denser protein matrix that physically slows starch digestion. For traditional use, source whole einkorn berries and soak them overnight before cooking as a hearty morning porridge. This soaking step activates enzymes that further improve digestibility and nutrient absorption. Avoid any einkorn product that lists enriched or fortified on the label. That means it has been stripped of its natural bran and germ and then rebuilt with synthetic nutrients. Einkorn was gradually abandoned when industrial agriculture demanded high-yield, fast-growing varieties that could be chemically processed at massive scale. Yet it still offers the same metabolic stability it provided for 10,000 years. The workers who built the pyramids at Giza were fed a very specific diet, documented in ancient Egyptian papyri and confirmed by modern archaeobotanical analysis of the workers' village at Deir el-Medina. Emmer wheat, known in Egyptian as bedet, was their staple. It was baked into thick, dense loaves and brewed into a thick, nutrient-dense beer that served as both caloric fuel and mineral foundation for the back-breaking labor of moving massive limestone blocks. Egyptian physicians also recorded its use in medical papyri as a restorative food for the sick, especially those showing signs of metabolic weakness. What they understood through generations of observation has now been validated by modern science. Emmer is exceptionally high in arabinoxylan, a soluble dietary fiber that forms a viscous gel in the gut and dramatically slows the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. Research published in Nutrition Reviews confirmed that arabinoxylan supplementation significantly reduced postprandial blood glucose peaks and improved insulin sensitivity markers in adults with pre-diabetic conditions. For traditional use, cook whole emmer berries low and slow. An overnight slow cooker preparation is ideal for breaking down the hull structure without destroying the valuable fiber matrix. Always avoid pearled emmer, which removes the bran layer where most of the arabinoxylan is concentrated. Modern bread companies replaced emmer with high-gluten modern wheat because emmer is harder to mill at industrial scale and cannot be turned into the soft, shelf-stable loaves that maximize profit margins. Emmer still delivers the sustained power it gave the people who built one of humanity's greatest civilizations. In sub-Saharan Africa, particularly across what is now Ethiopia, Mali, and Sudan, sorghum has been cultivated and consumed for more than 8,000 years. Traditional preparation almost universally involved fermentation, grinding the grain, mixing with water, and allowing it to sour over 24 to 72 hours before cooking into thick porridges like injera or ugali. West African communities used sorghum porridge specifically for children during weaning, and for elders managing energy decline in the populations with the greatest need for metabolic stability. Modern research explains why. Sorghum contains a unique class of polyphenols called 3-deoxyanthocyanidins, not found in other common grains. These compounds inhibit alpha-amylase and alpha-glucosidase, the same enzymes targeted by pharmaceutical drugs like acarbose. A clinical study found sorghum consumption reduced the postprandial glucose area under the curve by up to 33% compared to wheat. For best results, purchase whole sorghum grain and ferment it using a simple water and time method for at least 24 hours before cooking. Avoid popped or puffed snack products. High heat processing destroys the beneficial polyphenols. Sorghum was largely ignored in Western nutrition science, partly because it was associated with traditional diets in regions that pharmaceutical companies showed little financial interest in studying deeply. Yet it continues to offer the same metabolic support it provided for 8,000 years of African agricultural history. The Ethiopian highlands, at elevations above 7,000 feet, have relied for more than 3,000 years on teff, a tiny grain smaller than a poppy seed. Ethiopian long-distance runners, many holding world records, still make fermented teff injera a dietary cornerstone. Ancient Aksumite grain stores show teff was a primary protected crop, considered essential for survival and performance. Teff has a glycemic index around 55, but its real advantage is high resistant starch content, up to 40% when cooked and cooled. Research in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed this resistant starch significantly increases GLP-1 secretion, supporting the same pathway targeted by modern diabetes medications. Traditional preparation involves fermenting teff flour with water for 2 to 3 days before making flatbread or porridge. This step boosts resistant starch further and enhances mineral bioavailability. Skip instant teff products that use pre-gelatinized starch and lose this advantage. Teff remained unknown in Western markets for a long time because it cannot be grown economically at industrial scale in temperate climates. It still provides the endurance and stability it gave ancient Ethiopian runners and warriors. Spanish conquistadors found amaranth at the heart of Aztec religious, military, and daily nutrition. Warriors ate it before battle. Priests used it in rituals. The conquistadors banned its cultivation under penalty of death, nearly erasing it for over 300 years. Amaranth stands out because it contains squalene, alongside a complete amino acid profile and high rutin. A study in lipids in health and disease found amaranth consumption significantly reduced fasting blood glucose, total cholesterol, and LDL in people with metabolic syndrome over 16 weeks. Toast whole amaranth in a dry pan before cooking to improve digestibility. Avoid sweetened commercial cereals. In the monasteries of Mount Athos, farro has been a morning staple for over 1,000 years. Byzantine monastic codes prescribed soaked and cooked whole farro porridge to sustain long hours of prayer and labor without energy disruption. A randomized controlled trial in the European Journal of Nutrition showed participants consuming whole farro each morning experienced a 19.8% reduction in fasting blood glucose over 8 weeks, plus better insulin sensitivity. Soak whole farro berries for 8 hours before cooking in water or bone broth. Skip pearled versions that remove the beta-glucan-rich bran. Farro still delivers the steady fuel that supported centuries of contemplative health. Millet appears in the Book of Ezekiel and was cultivated across ancient Israel, Mesopotamia, India, and northern China for over 7,000 years. It provided drought resilience and sustained energy for laborers and soldiers. Millet is rich in magnesium, crucial for glucose metabolism. A meta-analysis in Frontiers in Nutrition found whole millet reduced fasting blood glucose by an average of 12% and improved HbA1c. Always soak millet for at least 8 hours and rinse to reduce phytic acid. It still offers the reliability documented in ancient scripture. The Incas called quinoa chisaya mama, mother grain. Soldiers carried toasted quinoa flour on mountain marches. Its unique starch structure resists rapid breakdown, and ecdysteroids help stimulate glucose uptake in muscles. Rinse thoroughly to remove saponins and cook gently. Quinoa remains a powerful tool for sustained energy at high altitudes and in modern life. Roman gladiators were known as hordearii, barley men. Barley's high beta-glucan content reduces postprandial glucose peaks by around 23%, according to meta-analyses. Use whole, hull-less, or pot barley, soaked overnight. It still builds endurance the way it did in ancient arenas. Buckwheat contains dikairoinositol that improves insulin signaling. Studies show meaningful improvements in blood glucose control. Cook whole groats as porridge. It continues to help with sweet fatigue, as Siberian healers observed. If the pattern is clear, real food from real soil does what expensive medications promise. Hit like and subscribe. We explore ancestral nutrition weekly. Hildegard von Bingen prescribed spelt porridge for digestive weakness and blood sugar issues. Its B vitamins and soluble fiber support glucose metabolism. Use whole berries and sourdough fermentation for best results. Aztec warriors and runners relied on chia for stable energy on long journeys. Its high fiber, up to 37%, and omega-3s blunt glucose spikes dramatically. One study showed 39% reduction in postprandial glucose response. Soak whole seeds to form the beneficial gel. Whole soaked chia remains more effective than many processed forms. Kamut offers higher protein, selenium, and better metabolic responses than modern wheat. Clinical trials confirm reductions in blood glucose and insulin. Prepare whole berries as porridge. Traditional Scottish oat porridge supported metabolic health. Whole oat groats deliver powerful beta-glucan benefits. Steel-cut or whole groats soaked overnight are far superior to instant varieties. Reserved for emperors, Black rice's anthocyanins inhibit starch-digesting enzymes and reduce glucose spikes. Soak and cook slowly to preserve benefits. These 15 ancient grains work through complementary mechanisms. Rotate them. Use beta-glucan-rich options like barley, farro, and oat groats for slow absorption, buckwheat, amaranth, and sorghum for receptor-level support, chia, quinoa, and black rice for mealtime anchoring, and the ancient wheats for foundational nutrition. The key thread is traditional preparation, soaking, fermenting, slow cooking practices, the industrial system abandoned for speed and profit. The wisdom of our ancestors, now backed by modern science, shows us a better way. Smash like if this shifted how you see the grain aisle. Comment which grain you'll try first. Subscribe and ring the bell for more ancestral nutrition content every week. The most powerful medicine doesn't come in a bottle. It grows in fields, gets soaked overnight, and nourishes you each morning exactly as it has for 10,000 years. Now you know which ones to seek out, grow, and eat.